Welcome to Center Hice Productions. It is December 14th, 2023. Please hit the likes and the subscribe down below in your right-hand corner. Muchly appreciated. Thanks to all my supporters. I appreciate your support. Let's pass it on to your friends and family and make this a bigger network. Let's grow this channel. And like I said, we will eventually get into live streams as well, because that seems to be where the numbers are. I know I'm not ready for it yet, but we will be going there. Don't kid yourself. Okay, anyway, we're going to get to a very basic thing. The title is what it says. It was Pittsburgh and Montreal. We gave them this game. We had it, and we passed it as a Christmas gift to them. 4-3, they won it in a shootout in the 12th round, longest shootout in a long time. 12 rounds, that was outrageous. Good game in the third. It was a good fight, but we had this game. We had a great first period, and we stunk in the second and let them back in. And for guys like Gooley coming out in front of that, he knows the play he made, and he came out from behind the net and gave it away, and then Crosby ended up scoring on it. You can't do that. I mean, that's a bonehead play for a defenseman. He knows better than that. He's supposed to be way better than that. And Matheson and Barron, they made a lot of sloppy errors and giveaways too. I got to say, by far, I'm just going to do the stats real quick. I'm going to come back to this. Okay, so let's go to the stats. Scoring first, okay? All right, so Crosby first star, 2 goals and assist. Savard, 1 goal. Nice goal it was. Nick Delkovich, 39 stops. He played great. Game starts. David Savard scores unassisted, intercepting a dump of pass out. He intercepts it, walks in, puts a shot over the glove. Very nice goal by David Savard at 6:24. Jaden Struble follows it up at 12:21, jumping into the play again and gets a rebound in front of the net and puts it over the shoulder in the net, I should say. Assisted by Pizzetta and Jesse Ilonen, and that was at 12:21. 13:48, Sidney Crosby starts his stuff. I believe that was from the giveaway. Assisted by Drew O'Connor. And then Sean Monahan restored our 2-goal lead and made it 3-1. That was at 15:20. Assisted by Nick Suzuki and Mike Matheson on the power play. And then, so we had a 3-1 lead going into the second period. Then, second period begins, and this is where Montreal disappears. Jake Quenzel scores, assisted by Sidney Crosby and Erik Karlsson. Power play. Our penalty kill stunk last night. Pittsburgh's got the. We got to realize when you see that a power play is working, you can't keep taking the penalties you're taking. So they score, and that was at 5:36 on the power play. Sidney Crosby ties things up at 11:02, assisted by Karlsson and Malkin on the power play. So our penalty kill absolutely stunk last night, and I don't know. It was bad. So, that being said, no scoring in overtime. Shootout went like this. Nick Suzuki scored. Letang scored. Caulfield scored. Crosby scored. Then you had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players not score. Then Monahan scores. Then Eller scores to keep Pittsburgh into it. Several more saves until we ended up getting the winning goal by Harkins. So, and I don't know what you put Josh Anderson on a shootout for. I don't know what. Even Galley, I guess Galley worked hard, so he deserved it. But when he's got stone cold hands with all those injuries, so you knew that was going to be stopped. I just think, why was Davis Savard not even? He's got a half decent shot, played well. Struble, why was he not thrown into that lineup before those guys that just had a little something more? Even Gooley, that's one area. I think Gooley would have done well in the shootout too. We've had like Evans, Um, Anderson, definitely, and alone and usually scores. I think he rung it off the post. But so he's, that's a great shooter there. But for us to go to certain guys in the shootout, there are guys you can go to before some of these guys, like Josh Anderson, shouldn't be anywhere near a puck in a shootout with the way he's performing. He shouldn't even be on the ice as far as I'm concerned. So with that being said, real quick stats. And we actually outshot Pittsburgh in this game. It was kind of just mind-boggling. 42-30. They out hit us 24-12, doubling us. Face-offs, we had 31-29. They had 2 for 4 on their power plays. We had 1 for 4. Penalty minutes, 8 for them, 6 for us. We couldn't capitalize on the power play, of course. Only the once, which is pretty sad. We think it's Christmas when we get a power play goal, but it should be doing better than that. But we don't have the talent. Giveaways, 14 for them, 15 for us. Takeaways, 8-8. Block shots, 15-14 for them. That's how the stats were. It was really Sidney Crosby's night. He matched Mark Recchi. Congratulations, Sidney. You're a class act. Great game. Yeah, what more can you say? And anyway, it was this was a game Montreal had in the bag, and no and ifs and buts. Um, that Savard goal when he intercepted was just a beautiful shot, beautiful step in, and the way he stepped into the shot, he did a nice job. Savard was our strongest defenseman last night by far, and probably has been for the last 2 games, to be honest, with them, and the Predators. Struble had a strong game. I would say he would have been the second best defenseman, and then Kovacevic would have been our third best defenseman. After that, it was all downhill for our defense. Um, for our 2 best defensemen, I'm shaking my head with Gouley and Matheson, and people can say, "Oh, pump up Matheson." Matheson has not been defensively; he's just been horrible. Um, Gouley's fell into that where he's making errors that he didn't make. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if it's the combination of him and Barron, because Barron's got biggest bonehead on him in a lot of games now. Um, there's It's almost like when somebody closes in on him or the pressure's on, he falls or gives it away. Doesn't put him. These guys got to learn to start putting a little more on the crispness, crispness and not fooling around with the puck, because that's Barron's biggest problem when he gives it away. And so it's almost like Barron's disease is starting to get through on the goalie, and of giveaways. And I got to say, they're just not a good pair. They just don't fit. Um, it was working for a minute, but once Barron started getting sloppier, and those mistakes, and that's why I say you send. I guess I've heard points made. Why waste Arbor Jack Eye at this point in time? That's kind of true, because we're not good enough to be wasting them. That's for sure. However, with development issues, every single one of those young defensemen, and even Mike Matheson, my God, for a veteran, do these guys not understand zone coverage? And this is we're talking about a veteran. My God, and like I said, I know the kids are doing it too, like Gooley, Barron. I think the only one that's not doing it very much is Struble and Savard, a lot less anyway, and Kovacevic, probably less from them. But the other three, and yet it still happens with all of them occasionally. Your left defense, stay on your side. That's zone coverage. If you got your partner all in his position on the right side, can take care of his man. You got to be ready for when your man gets there, whoever that man's going to be. You don't go blowing over to the right side to get the puck so that you got double coverage on a guy. Then you just left somebody wide open. This is coming from Mike Matheson, Gooley, Barron, and occasionally the rest of them. This is boneheadness. To me, there's a problem with our defensive coaching, with the communication. It just is these guys, and like I say, for Mike Matheson, I guess it angers me more because he's a veteran. He should know this stuff. You can't tell me he doesn't understand zone coverage. So, where this mentality of these guys leaving their zone and not playing to their side is coming from, I'm baffled because, and this is the other thing, when we get in our own zone and we're trying to get it out, what is it with 2 to 3 guys going after one player? Do you realize and understand the concept of hockey that when you do that, you allow 2 or 3 players on the opposition open? This is what's happening from our play. We are getting guys jumping into the coverage, but all headed to the same. Let the guy that's on the player handle him. That's his job. You need to cover the odd men out that are in your area. Do your jobs. What is going on with the coverage is beyond me because this was Montreal's game. We came out flying in the first period. Looked great. Second period, it's like a switch went off. And it wasn't that Pittsburgh was great because if we kept our feet moving and kept with the same program, we easily beat these guys. Their age was showing. Our speed was showing that they were having massive trouble with it, but we didn't continue with that. And then our defense started giving the game away with bonehead plays, with giveaways. The giveaways are killing us. And to me, if you're going to have a rule for players, this is something that goes into coaching, and it's just making me furious. We understood Marty's problem with getting Jackeye to understand he can't take these retaliation penalties, save it for the next game, that type of thing. And yes, he needs to work on not getting beat as much. He wasn't doing extreme bad in any way, shape, or form. He still had more physicality, and I still say Struble does not come close to Arbor Jackie's physicality. Now, he's been playing for the little time he's on the ice. His coverage, well, he pushes, gives a push, a light hit. There's nobody out there that hits like Arbor Jackie. So don't give me the garbage. This guy brings a dimension to the game we absolutely need in the future. Now, you want to keep him there in Laval just to keep him working on his defense. That's fine and dandy, but he better be a part of your future plans because that's an ingredient you don't have and you're going to need. Period. And don't give me the crap. Yes, Struble's playing respectable, and he's probably playing better than some of these guys right now. He's nowhere near close to Arbor Jackie in physicality. I've been waiting for it. I don't see it. He's played well, but I guess it's just because the rest of the guys are playing so poorly. And I like I said, our defensive coach, I can't think of his name at the time. I mean, I know he played for the Habs, he played for the Stars. I can see it with the glasses. And he was a half decent player, but coaching, I think he got that job like Burroughs, lack of experience, and that's our coaching staff, lack of experience. I love Marty. Marty needs some veterans back there to coach with him. And I know we got the excuses for Burroughs not having the talent. I agree. He doesn't have the talent. I agree with the defense coach. I think it's a little different. I know they're young, but the communication's got to be there's. It's not that complicated to figure out how to play zone coverage and to dictate a common sense, logical standpoint, a no, that you never skate out from behind the net into the front of the net. You know that's deadly. There's just it's baffling, and this thing we got to fix it when we're in our own end. These guys got to stop putting 2 to 3 guys on one player and not covering their man. They're leaving players wide open thinking that we need 3 players to win the puck against one of the oppositions, that's a recipe for disaster. And it's showing in the games. We're giving games away due to it. Barron is it's happening every game. The amount of cough ups of the puck. Yes, he's improved, but in recent games, it's just been continual big mistakes, a lot. And if you're going to praise a guy, or you got to treat everybody the same, because as far as I'm concerned, even my favorite goalie and Matheson's a match to goalie. Those two usually are way ahead of the rest of the pack. Those two, by far in talent. And I'll tell you, they're playing poorly defensively. And that was one of Gooley's strengths. Um, and right now, it's almost like Barron has rubbed off on him. That to me is a match made in hell, not in heaven. Get Barron away from Gooley because he's taking Gooley's down with him. It's almost like Gooley's trying to do too much, and like Matheson, and when those guys try to do too much, they actually hurt the team. So find your defense. If you can't find partners, that's telling you something. Pairings that work. That's why I almost think, why did you not try Jack-Eye with Gooley? Gooley has the talent that I'm sure he could have tried the right side. Even Jack-Eye has played some right side, so I think that might have been something we should have tried and stuck with, because I think that would be a better matching myself. However, I don't know what the answer is there. Um, but don't tell me by any stretch of the imagination that Barron, Gooley, Kovacevic, he's probably been one of the more consistent ones. But Davis Savard, so far, 2 games back, has been the best defenseman. And Struble, he hasn't played big minutes, but the minutes he's played, he's been steady, but he's not this big force. He's not this big physical presence by any stretch of the imagination. So we want to sit there and try to pump his tires. No, he's playing good, but he's not this outstanding. Sorry to say it. We don't have anybody in that category. But however Jack-Eye brings, we better have him in our future plans, because you need that physicality, somebody there, and it's evident that our guys get knocked around when he's not there, and there's no response because Josh Anderson's nowhere to be seen. And that's the other thing. As much as I love Marty St. Louis, he treats his veterans different than he treats his kids, and I don't buy it. It's a one standard for all. If you're going to be like last year, I found him very hard on Slab, which was Slab was definitely not ready for the NHL last year. That was on them for not sending him to Laval. So you pick on the kid, but it's your own doing because you won't let him go to Laval back then, right? But then you show this, you blew up at Jack-Eye. Jack-Eye didn't just, okay, injury-wise, maybe to get back in game shape, he needed it. And I mean, yeah, he's got to. There's nobody on that defense that doesn't need to refine their game. Nobody. Barron, he coughs up the puck a lot. He's improved, yes, but he coughs up the puck a lot. There's something in Barron's head that when the pressure's on, he doesn't respond properly. That's his negative. That's something mental he's got to work on. Yes, he's improved. Gooley can be outstanding, but it seems like since he's been playing with Barron, he's slid. He's making plays he doesn't normally play. Matheson is the same as Gooley. Those two are trying to do too much, no doubt, and it's costing us because they're trying to do. Kovacevic is actually playing the most responsible next to Savard in that regard. And Struble, for a guy who's just come up, at least he's playing respectable. And he's playing better than those 3 right at the moment. He's playing better than Matheson and Gooley and Barron, with responsible in his position, not get caught out of position, is what I'm saying. Your defensive duties is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the carrying of the puck, that type of thing, offensively. I'm talking more of the defensive zone coverage. And to me, zone coverage, these guys got to learn to stay in their own damn position on their own side. Let their partner do their job on their side. That's what they're supposed to be doing. And the rest of the forwards need to pick up their man and not go trying to outnumber the one opponent with the defenseman. And this is what Montreal's continually doing, putting two or three guys in one after one guy, trying to win that puck battle on, 3-on-1. And then they got three guys open, the puck comes squirts out. Of course the opposition's going to pounce on it. They got three guys free that you aren't covering. So, sorry. I'm sorry to say. Um, I say Matheson's sure lucky that he's got Savard, because Savard, things could look a lot worse for Matheson if he wasn't with Savard. I'll tell you that. Savard might be slow, but he looks like the most responsible defenseman right now, to be honest. I would take him right at this moment as the most poised, calm, um, experienced. He's just putting the right things in play. He's bringing the right things to the game. So, hands down, right now for and that's 2 games he's been back. Kovacevic has been, up and down, but the rest of them have had more downs than they've had ups of late. Like I say, Barron is number one, because I just don't think him and Gouley can be together. I think that's a match you got to break. That's why I almost think if Arbor gets back, you need to try either Arbor with Gouley or Struble with Gouley. But Barron does not work with Gouley. I don't know what you need with Barron in that regard, and that's what I say. It needs to be a fair shake. And Josh Anderson, again, I was driving a point. So you come down on Arbor this year, Mark. What about Josh Anderson? It's okay for the vets to do it, to not play hockey, but it's not okay for the rookies to have some confidence. Josh Anderson, especially in the last 2 games, has been back to that crappy play. The lack of effort. I seen him. Watching him against Nashville and watching him last night, he's expecting everybody else to do the work. This is a guy that should be stepping up more than anybody with all the injuries, and the gloves should be off more frequent. He should be the guy they should be looking for to that reply. Pezzetta, same thing. Pezzetta, they can compliment Pezzetta because he throws 3 or 4 hits in a game when he's cooking, and then Pezzetta's not himself. He used to do that an entire game, every shift. He doesn't anymore. He doesn't. He throws 3 or 4 big hits a night, and then he's done. So I'm not impressed with his game. Stevens is just a kid, and he just didn't get enough ice time. So I think you almost got to rotate that spot with trying different people from Laval. Oh, I just wanted to mention, you'll notice I had Emil Heineman on the cover page, and that was because there was a story put out that he was called up by the Habs. I don't know how true that is. I want to look more into it, but I can show, if anybody questions, the article was there, and that picture comes from the article saying that he was recalled by the Habs. I don't know if there's truth to that, or because reporters report a lot of false stuff at times. I don't think it would be a bad thing between him and Roy being brought up periodically. Although there's a negative to it. You may hurt their game for their development. That's the problem. But if they were to try them, they might have better results. Uh, I think there's a few other guys. There's just a few players they could rotate in there just to try it out. But you got to play them. Like that kid Stevens didn't get much ice time last night. Ylonen didn't have a good game, but Josh Anderson by far in the offense had the worst game. He did nothing, and he's done that for the last 2 games. And Marty rewards him, putting him in all the big situations. This is the square peg that doesn't fit into a circle. Never has. He hasn't. The moment he came to Montreal, he really hasn't fit. We got him for his thinking. Yes, everybody wants a big winger, that power forward. He's not lived up to it, and Tortorella's been right. And I'm sorry. I like Josh Anderson, the person. I don't like the inconsistency, the selfish, the lazy aspects of his game. And if you're going to coach a team, and I love Marty, but I don't see him doing this fairly across the board. The veterans, there was early stages that there were other veterans that could have been sat, not just Josh, just the odd time, but the other veterans picked it up. Josh hasn't. So when Yoel Armia is playing better than Josh Anderson, that's got to be a message. That's got to be a message. It's time to get him out. I don't care if you got to put him on waivers and let somebody take that contract off and you lose. I don't care what it is. He doesn't fit. He's taking up space for nothing. And don't tell me he's playing good because he dropped the gloves once, and that made everything better from what I've been seeing from the media. He dropped the gloves once and got an open net goal. Come on now. Really? Come on. Does that mean he's played outstanding? He's I've backed him when he's played, worked hard. But when he hasn't, I say he hasn't. But even when he's worked hard, he doesn't fit with this team. His style does not fit. He doesn't know how to check. Throws checks, hits the boards. Hurts himself more than anything. But his effort is a light switch. It's on and off. And the last 2 games, he's been terrible effort-wise. And it's time for him to move on. And I just ask, if you're going to coach a certain way, Marty, and demand responsibility, you need to put the veterans on the same page as the rookies, the kids. It's not really rookies, but they're kids. The same expectations need to be there for everybody. I don't know. What are you scared of? Demanding that from the veterans? I don't get it. I don't get it. Like I said, at least Galley has brought us. Galley's been one of our better players for the last stretch now. Slav had a weaker game last night, but that penalty he took wasn't a penalty. That was not hooking. When you look at the replay, just because, they call it, as soon as they see the stick up at all, they call a penalty and call it. Go to the replay if you can't freaking call if you can't call a call properly. His stick was flimsy there when it was beside the player. That was no hooking penalty, because that's one of my negatives against Slav. He leaves one hand on the stick a lot. So, but he had some good moments, but wasn't his strongest game. Suzuki had a stronger game. Caulfield had moments. But the amount of times Caulfield's set up is just beyond me. What's going on mentally is, I don't know what it is, because he's been set up a lot by Slav. He's been set up a lot by Suzuki, and he's just missing getting great opportunities here and there. But they can't keep going to Caulfield on the power play and stuff like that. They just got to start firing the puck. And I wish it's the same thing. Slav's got to get his confidence with his shot and start shooting the puck more. Suzuki needs to shoot more. They all need to, So it is what it is. They lost, and it is what it is. We gave Pittsburgh a Christmas gift. 2 times we blew the lead in this game. That's why I got the Christmas package on the front of the page as well. This was an early present to the Penguins. We outskated them. We should have won this game. It was a good game, but not outstanding. So thank you for joining me. We'll talk more. I might make a special episode to continue this, but I would just want to see the fair treatment for rookies or kids and veterans. And it's time to move on from Josh Anderson, because I'm telling you now, Yoel Armia is outplaying him. So thank you for joining me. We're at Puck Drop Birds here at Central Ice. We will catch you in the next game, which I believe is the Islanders on Saturday, I believe. I will check it. But anyway, we will catch you then, and I might make a special episode just to continue this problem with our defense and Josh Anderson, the lack of equal treatment from our coaching staff to veterans and the youngsters. So thank you for joining me. We will catch you in the next episode. Merry Christmas to the Penguins. Congratulations, Sidney Crosby, because we gave you a Christmas gift.